Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda ride their choppers with Luke Askew on the back of Fonda's in a publicity still for the 1969 film Easy Rider. Brigitte Bardot rehearses for a New Year's Eve television show in Paris in 1967. Richard Crenna challenges Steve McQueen to a race, pedicab vs. motorcycle, on the set of The Sand Pebbles in 1966. Clint Eastwood poses for a publicity photo for his 1968 movie Coogan's Bluff. Mick Jagger gets a ride to a show in 1976. Subscribe and watch other videos. Christie Brinkley rides a motorcycle with Olivia Chandon in 1982. Hunter S. Thompson sits on his Penton motorcycle with a rifle on his Aspen Ranch in 1976. Marilyn Monroe laughing it up with Jacques Cernas, Sammy Davis, Jr., photographer Milton H. Green, and jazz musician Mel Torme at Crescendo nightclub on the Sunset Strip in 1960. Fats Domino on a Dax Honda motorbike in France in 1980. Clint Eastwood and Sandra Locke film a scene for The Gauntlet in 1977. Grace Jones sits on a motorcycle with Jimmy Baio, Divine, an exotic dancer, and an unidentified woman in 1981. Cher rides her Harley in a Harley-Davidson parade in Beverly Hills in 1994. Audrey Hepburn poses on a ping-pong table, circa 1967. The Jacksons take a family photo at their home in California in 1971. Paul Simonon of The Clash and Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols ride motorcycles together in 1987. Meatloaf on his motorbike in 1978. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Garrett Morris, Chevy Chase, and John Belushi film an SNL sketch in 1978. Josh Brolin attends a motorcycle ride to benefit the Muscular Dystrophy Association in 1988. Mr. T poses on a motorbike in 1983. Elvis Presley on the set of Clambake in 1976. Lenny Kravitz gets his picture taken on a motorcycle in 1996. Elizabeth Taylor attends a motorcycle rally in 1987. Dan Aykroyd goes for a ride in 1988. Hall and Oates pose with a Yamaha in 1983. Christian Slater poses with a motorbike for the 1988 film Heathers. Jay Leno poses with one of the motorcycles in his collection in 1989. Ringo and his wife Barbara Bach take a ride in London in 1989. Marlon Brando poses for a picture as a biker gang leader in the 1953 film The Wild One. Sammy Davis Jr. arrives at an event in a snakeskin suit in 1970. Lou Reed makes an album cover in 1982. Joe Namath and Anne Margaret starring in C.C. and Company in 1970. Eric Bloom brings a bike on stage during a Blue Oyster Cult show at Madison Square Garden in 1981. Bob Hope gives a fan a ride on his motorcycle in Los Angeles in 1950. Arnold Schwarzenegger joins a horde of bikers on the back of their motorcycles as he participates in the Planet Hollywood Ride for Children event in 1995. Subscribe and watch other videos. Robert Carradine arrives at the 1977 premiere of his film, Joyride, on the back of a motorcycle. Paul Newman keeps up on current events by reading the New York Times on the back of his motorcycle on the set of Moving Target in 1965, while getting his hair cut by celebrity barber Jay Sebring. Cary Grant's I Was a Male War Bride co-star, Ann Sheridan, is the one behind the wheel on the set of their 1949 film. The leading man rode along in the sidecar. The Muscles from Brussels, Jean-Claude Van Damme, gave the crowd outside of Planet Hollywood a show as he rode his Harley-Davidson down the red carpet in 1994. Hollywood's resident bad boy, James Dean, rides his motorcycle down the street as teen fans look on. Of course, the Rebel Without a Cause actor also had a cigarette and his signature shades. Motorcycle enthusiast, Clark Gable, plans his route for his ride outside of his California home in 1950. Baywatch's Pamela Anderson wears a Canadian tuxedo as she rides on a Yamaha bike for an event in 1990. Steve McQueen poses on the back of his motorcycle at the German-Swiss border, while filming The Great Escape in 1963. The avid motorist performed most of his character's motorcycle stunts in the film. Goldie Hawn eats ice cream next to her dog on September 8, 1966. Warren Beatty puts his arm around actress Natalie Wood at the 1962 Academy Awards. Marilyn Monroe snuggles with a dog on the set of The Misfits in 1960. Rosemary's Baby director Roman Polanski and actress Sharon Tate on their wedding day January 20, 1968. Elvis Presley poses for a photo on a train, circa 1960. Paul McCartney autographs a Beatles book backstage at their Hollywood Bowl concert on August 23, 1964. Henry Fonda poses with his children, Peter and Jane, circa 1963. Clint Eastwood sits in a Cadillac with his wife, Maggie Johnson, circa 1960. French actress Brigitte Bardot relaxes in the back seat of her limousine, circa 1968. Psycho star Janet Leigh with her husband Robert Brandt at the 1963 film premiere of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. English actress Jane Birkin poses next to a birdcage, circa 1964. Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton board a yacht on February 19, 1968. Joan Collins and Anthony Newley attend a dinner in Los Angeles, circa 1967. Paul Newman tosses his tennis racket into the air, circa 1960. British fashion model Twiggy gets out of her car in 1968. James Bond actor Sean Connery smiles at the camera as he arrives at a film premiere on May 24, 1965. Lucille Ball eats cake on the set of The Facts of Life, circa 1960. Paul McCartney sits in the recording studio during production of Yellow Submarine on February 1, 1968. Sandra Dee poses for the camera, circa 1962. John Lennon, Yoko Ono, and Eric Clapton throw peace signs as they lounge poolside in 1969. Lucille Ball cuts the ribbon at the ceremony celebrating the acquisition of her production company DC Productions, circa 1967. Singer Doris Day leaves her handprints in cement at the entrance of Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood on January 19, 1961. Paul and Linda McCartney arrive at the 1969 film premiere of Midnight Cowboy. Paul Newman, Cary Grant, and Joanne Woodard gather around a backlot trailer, circa 1965. John Wayne attends dinner with his children John and Isa Wayne, circa 1967. Italian actress Sophia Loren lounges in a cornfield, circa 1965. Clint Eastwood relaxes in an RV, circa 1965. Photographer Linda Eastman talks to Paul McCartney at a 1967 press event for the Beatles album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Rock Hudson enjoys a soda alongside Doris Day, circa 1960.
Thanks for watching. Give a like, subscribe to the channel, and watch more videos.